All around the world, the spirit is moving. Hey, fathers, dad, buds, and lads, and even the ladies. Welcome to Friday Night Live. Welcome to Feature Friday. This is the old dad discussions back in action. We're so glad that you've decided to tune in tonight for this candid conversation about everything fatherhood, parenting, and what have you. Now, before we go any further, and I invite my guest in for a great chat tonight, it's going to be a great show. So, if you decide to click that watch button and tune in, and come along with us for the ride, that's fantastic, and I do appreciate it. But if we go any further, if this is the Dad Discussion Show, and if you have not yet followed me here or subscribed here on YouTube, you could do that. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Would love to have you as the next member of the FC crew. And if you're wondering why this channel exists, it's pretty simple. And here is why it exists. Just helping parents navigate parenting through honest conversation. Like I always say, I haven't written a book. I have no courses on parenting, but I do have what is very valuable. That is experience in the trenches of parenting two kids along with my lovely wife. So that is my credentials. You might say it's not much. I say it's everything. So without further ado, my guest tonight is a very special guy. He's a great dude. He's a great dad. He's got multiple talents, like multiple talents. He's got many faces, all faces that are good, and he's sexy. You're probably thinking, why would you say that about this guy? But you'll find out in a second. Anyway, this guy is my brother-in-law, and he married my sister. We've known each other for north of 15 years, 17 years, close to 20. And I've grown to appreciate Matt. And you're in for a treat tonight. Matt's going to tell it like it is. He's very thoughtful. And so we're going to get right into it. So why don't you put your virtual hands together and welcome in my brother-in-law, Matthew Moss. Matthew!
Hey! How's she going?
She's going good, bud. What do you think?
Well, you know what? You introduced me so well.
Did I?
You hit the nail on the head. Talented, handsome, great dad. All the hype.
Great brother-in-law, trustworthy, dependable, advisable. I've got, and just so we can clear the slate. Anybody who, of course, you probably don't know Matt. Obviously, you don't know me. You don't know our relationship, but we've come a long way in our relationship in learning to really value our uniqueness, right?
Yeah.
And what we bring to the table. And hey, wasn't for my sister, we wouldn't be in this mess.
It's all her fault, man.
It's all her fault. But listen, Matt, as it is custom here on this channel, guys, I know there's 4 or 5 of you guys tuning in. And before I go any further, just those are tuning in from Twitter, welcome. Those from Facebook, welcome. And here on the main platform, YouTube, the YouTubies, welcome. So I don't have a cold beverage, but I figured I'd do a little wine pour live, Matty Poo. Tonight, my wine, what I've chosen is called this. It's called the Magic, if I can get it in there, the Magic Box Spectacular Shiraz. So,
it's the Shiraz?
So I think it would help, guys, if I take the cap off first. Cap's off. Glass is full. So, hey, it's Friday night. Let's get a little sippage going just to create a nice warm atmosphere. This is a non-threatening place unless you threaten me, and then I'm going to boot you out. No, I'm just joking. So, cheers, guys, dads, buds, lads, all you ladies. Matt, good to have you, bud.
It's good to be had.
Yeah, man. So, let's get down to some recreational conversation. We haven't chatted in a while. We haven't really been together in a bit. What's been happening in the Moss household? Tell everybody about yourself.
We certainly have not had a real good long conversation in a while. We've just been, sharing TikToks with each other and little messages here and there. But I'm really grateful for me on tonight to have a conversation in front of everyone.
That's right.
And yeah, hey, listen, I'm really grateful that you invited me on. We've been doing pretty good over here on this side of Young Street, over here in
Lustum
Eastern.
Drive.
Yeah, over here in Eastern Ontario, we've been doing quite well. Kids are doing good. They just got their report cards back. They all did really well, and it was no credit to my wife or I. Parents like to take all the credit, of course, when their kids do
Yep.
well. But honestly, they have done so well in school this year, and it's a credit to them and how just amazing they are as individuals. I'm sure we had some part to play in it over the years, but they're just amazing. They're awesome kids. They're great to parent. They make it really easy, and I'm really proud of them. Trina and I have been doing well at work. It's our year end, so we're busy with budgets and all that stuff, but we're having a great time. We're living it up and looking forward to spring and then pool season.
Oh,
Yeah,
cracking that pool cover is like no other feeling, is it? To get in and just cool off the warm weather.
you're so right. April 20th is my birthday, and we plan to at least do a polar dip on that day. We've
Right.
made it a tradition, so there's no going back now. And what's great this year, as opposed to last year when we did it, is we have a hot tub ready to go, so we can get nice and cold, and then we can hop right in the warm water and warm up.
So Matt, for those out there, you can share as much as you want about your family. So tell us tell us a little bit about the family. What's the unit look like? What's the team look like?
Yeah,
What do we have in the fam?
the family team is
Yeah.
is what I would call a traditional family: mom, dad, and kids. Three girls. I have a 14-year-old, if you can believe it. She just got her first
Crazy.
job
Oh yeah?
this morning. She applied a couple of weeks ago, and she got notice this morning that she's going to be working at a camp up near my brother's place
Oh, that's
this
awesome.
summer. And she's into horseback riding. She likes all the expensive stuff. She's got very high end taste. So I told her, if
So
you're going,
for those in the chat, if you got those kids that just are attracted to the expensive stuff that creates conversation around the dinner table, drop it in the chat. Let us know if you have one of those kids. And listen, before we go any further, shout out to the Dad Cave. And I see there's seven other people on. You're dropping in and out. That's great. Hope and if you're watching this on the replay, uh, throw some comments. Would love to have some feedback. Even as we jump and dive right into some these meaty questions tonight, I got for Matt. Like, if you have your own question, I'd be delighted to just bench my question, to use a sports analogy or metaphor. I'd bench mine and I'd put you on the first line. So if you got questions, Matt would love to entertain those, because he's Matt is always ready to go. His brain is like mine, never shuts off.
yeah, that's right.
So Matt, let's because this channel really is, and someone asked me the other day, like, your channel's only for dads with families. I said, well, yes, but how about the couples that just got married? They're planning to have children, or maybe in your late teens and it's already popped in your mind. Man, I'm getting married, and I'm jumping into this whole, kid fiasco maybe a few years down the road. It's all applicable. And here's another thought. It's applicable because you're somebody else's kid too. So there's a relatable aspect to going, yeah, I can see how maybe my parents did that. I didn't understand it. I didn't cherish it. I didn't value it. But now, from your perspective, I get it. So it's all about learning and educating and just getting better. So that notate with that said, Matt, for those who are watching and they're like, man, yeah, I'm not married. Maybe they're saying they are married, but they have any kids. And the dad out there is probably saying, like, in your opinion, what do I have to do to prepare for fatherhood? Like, what can the guys, the men, the dudes out there what can they do to prepare for fatherhood? Because I mean, there's no manual.
Because
Walmart, the
that's
last time
right.
I checked.
I haven't found one. Okay, so this is what I'll say. Um, Pay attention and remember, um, like, don't just drift aimlessly into
Mm,
fatherhood.
solid.
Um,
That's good.
be, yeah, like prepare, plan, um, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. Um, don't let things slide. For example, you didn't let me finish answering the first question about
That's
my
right.
kids. So I'll just answer that real quick. So I have a 14-year-old and I have 10-year-old twins. They just turned 10. They're doing amazing in grade 4. They're just awesome. I have an amazing wife of 18 years this May, and we value our family unit, and not just the 5 of us, but our extended family, like you and your wife and kids, and my brother's wife and kid, and that's the other thing I'll say then is value your family. If you want your kids to be interested in you, and if you want them to respect you and love you, then you need to show them that and demonstrate that to them by loving the family you have. Like you said, I'm someone's son, so I need to show my children how to be
Mm,
someone else's child. Now, I'm an adult child of someone else, and it's of course different, but if they see me honoring my parents, if they see me loving and respecting and giving to the other members of my family and putting them first, then I think they'll catch it, because more is caught than taught. It is great
that's
to
good.
teach. It's great to have like lessons that you teach your kids and like moments of pedagogy where you know,
Yeah.
this is what this is, but
Mm,
more than that is just what they catch, what they observe. And I think you should work for them to observe you observing, paying attention, loving the people around you, making them a priority, and even doing a bit of self-sacrifice for someone else. I think it goes a long way.
you
There's
know,
no
it's
manual. Go ahead.
no, no, it's interesting you said that. On the way to work today, I was listening to a podcast, and it's a parenting podcast, and the host of the show made a comment that really stood out to me, along the lines of what you were just saying. And he said a lot of parents think that parenting is just behavioral management,
Mm,
trying to manage their kids' behavior, getting them to do the right thing, get them to say the right thing, behave, don't talk back, don't be deviant, don't do this, don't do that. And he says that as a parent will absolutely exhaust you and just lead to a reproducing of that negative, approach. He said the simple thing is model model what you want them to become.
yeah.
So if you're like, don't be deviant, show them that you're not deviant.
Yeah.
Right? Very simple. So it was spot on to, what you just said. Like it was just the correlation was just perfect. Yeah. So the behavior thing, it is so exhausting when like there's a lot of, and I've been here, and let's start from the ground roots. I've been here where all I did was play, like the boss monitor, the hall monitor at school, where you're just looking for a kid to misbehave so you can jump on them and say to the office, or you're going to be punished, or here's the consequences, instead of just going, well, my role is to demonstrate what the very thing that I hope my kids will be as functional adults as they get older.
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed that with my wife and my oldest daughter,
Yeah.
um, and even myself. But Trina often gets up early in the morning to read and have some time for personal growth and reflection. We're people of faith, we're Christians, so she reads her Bible, she reads other
Hmm.
material, and our oldest daughter, our three daughters, but our oldest daughter specifically notices that because she gets up quite early too. And so she has adopted that kind of practice and routine because she sees that it's valuable, it's beneficial. So instead of just saying, hey, kids, you must read,
Yep.
for 30 minutes a day, and if you don't, you're in trouble, you would actually get better results, I think, if you just demonstrated what you wanted from your children, and they catch it from you, they learn it from you, they pick it up. And yeah, I totally agree. It's so easy to get into the hall monitor mentality where
Oh
you're
yeah.
just like trying to modify behavior of someone else when you yourself
Yeah.
can't
Exactly.
control. Like we can't keep our own rules, let alone expect children to keep
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and children that are evolving in so many different ways, cognitively, behaviorally, emotionally. I mean, think about like for instance, like I was on my son's case the other day about something. And then I went in the room and I just said to him, I put my hands on my face. I was like, well, how did you think when you were 13, 14? How did
Yeah,
you think? Not like you're trying to get him to think, but he will think that as he sees you think like that because he'll know what will come of it, right? So, I mean, one thing I do a lot, and if I could put an exclamation point at the end of this one is, I apologize a lot.
mm.
And what I'm seeing now is that when they say, I mean, our kids do a lot of chores because that's what kids are for. No, I'm just going.
Yeah.
but when they miss their chores or whatever, I mean to get angry. I mean, how many chores did I ever miss growing up? How many chores did I decide I would try to get out, from doing and go to my buddy's house and then come back and act like, oh, right, right. But I knew I was right. Right. I mean, I did that all the
Yeah.
time. Try breaking the wood. We're gonna freeze to death. I think I lost my train of thought. But yeah, but when he didn't do his chore, I went in his room and said, "Hey," so another approach to me is, "Hey, so you must have forgot. That's okay," and that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
I won't get into a conversation. Oh, you must have forgot. That's okay. Then he'll come out later and go, "Man, I'm so sorry," and he'll apologize. And I'm like, I mean, that only comes through recognizing, and as a parent, like, man, it's so true that they begin they begin to live vicariously through what you model. I don't know if that's safe to say, but
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're imitating
yeah,
the good
that's
that
a good
they
word.
see, and of
Yeah.
course they're definitely going to imitate the negative they see. And so the onus is on the parent not to modify the behavior of the child, but to modify their own behavior to live a rich, full, rewarding life in front of their kids so that their kids can have something to imitate rather than just hearing a list of rules. I mean, everywhere they go, there's rules. When they come home to their safe space, um, this is where we want to demonstrate what a full life looks like, a
Yep.
robust, balanced life where there's fun. And then there's also responsibility, and we take
Mhm.
responsibility for the consequences of both.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
you are going to have some fun, know that you're going to have to take that time from work or school responsibilities. So you're going to have to make it up somewhere. You can't have it all. And that's what I try to do with the kids too is, as a parent and as a dad of three girls that are so beautiful and so sweet, you do want to give them everything, but you also have to withhold some things sometimes and force them to earn it and to understand the value of what they have. Otherwise, they just take it for granted, right? So I don't know where that came from, other
No,
than
it's good.
I think it's just good to model not just the good and the fun of life, but also the bad, and how you deal with bad situations, and how you deal with responsibility and managing tasks, and doing things with joy, and pleasure, even the uncomfortable things, even laundry, even doing the dishes or mowing the lawn, whatever it is you do that you know needs to get done that you don't like. I mean, you had to do it with a smile on your face, or your kid's not going to want to do it.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah. And I mean that lends to the whole idea of how can I demonstrate to my kids that you could have a multi-tiered approach to chores and create great conversation. Like for instance, I was listening to a guy today and he was saying every time he wants to have a serious conversation with his son, he said, I always move around. I
right.
never sit and look and tell him, look at me, look in my eyes. If he doesn't want to look in your eyes, don't look. But he says, I'm always moving. So that kind of lends to their whole development as a teenager of always feeling like, they're in school all day, not moving, sitting there. And he says, so when I say, hey, I know you're frustrated, I know you're angry right now. How about you get your soccer ball? We'll go down to the soccer field and we'll talk about it. I
Mm,
love that approach. Or, grab your basketball, let's go shoot some hoops, we'll talk about it. So
yeah,
you're not just going, we're gonna near zero in on this and that's all we're gonna do. But he accompanies that conversation with an activity that they know is going to just cause them to drop their wall
yeah,
and just open up. I love that. I always have conversations moving. I love it.
yeah.
So
That's
let's jump
great.
on to the next one, eh?
Um,
All right, guys. If you have questions, let me see. Let's look at some comments here. Let me see. The Dad Cave. You watched the Dad Cave episode last week,
oh
right?
yeah, it was amazing.
Praising them what they do right and letting them know how happy it makes you when they are doing well. It will get you exponentially better results than telling them everything they are doing wrong. Man, we couldn't agree more. That's a great comment, Jared. I love it. Love it. Sounds like you need to start writing a book. That's good.
Man, that
So
was a great episode and a great conversation with him. I
yeah,
really enjoyed it.
Jared's a great guy. Does all kinds of DIY projects. Great guy, very innovative. So if you're out there, drop Jared a follow. He's really, really good at doing those small little projects within a few hours, and it just looks so cool. He does bottle openers, so cool. Anyway, so how would you respond to this question, Matt? And again, just let everybody know, disclaimer: this is Matt's perspective, and it's okay. Like we all have one until you come to realize that ours is better.
Yeah,
No,
everyone's entitled to a wrong opinion.
that's right. Yeah. So here it is. Do we measure, or do I measure my success as a parent by the quality of relationship or by how effectively I can control my child? It's interesting because we kind of dipped into that a little
Yeah,
bit, right? Care to shed some light on that? What's running around in that beautiful brain of yours as you heard that statement?
yeah. So measuring success as a parent is a very can I say it this way?
Say it however you want.
It can be kind of self-centered,
Yep.
because and not, we want to be good parents and we want to be successful parents, and it's important, and it's not bad to want to measure the success, but really we want our children to be successful as the individuals that they are.
That's good.
um, not even who I want them to be, who I expect them to be, even who I think they could be.
Mm,
I want them to be successful now at the level they're at, Because that's the only way that they're ever going to improve or, you know, reach their full potential.
Matt, are you saying their success is built on what they've last learned and building on is that like more or less you're tracing their success a little bit at a time or
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, actually, when the kids got their report cards, it is easy to go, that was me, that was my wife, make a social media post and go, look at how amazing my kids are, and
yeah, that's
and,
right.
and just virtue signal how good
Yeah.
of a parent I am.
Yeah.
When honestly, like, I am not sitting in their classroom 6 hours a day.
No, no.
I have not done their homework for them. I don't even ask. I haven't done any of the work. They did it all.
Yeah.
They deserve all the credit, not me. Now,
Yeah.
did we create an environment that's conducive for
Yeah.
them to
Yeah.
have success? I
Yeah.
would assume so, because there's other kids that sit in the same class for 6 hours a day that go home to different homes and they don't enjoy the same level of success, which
Mhm.
is unfortunate. So I would have to assume that it has something to do with me. But what I'm really concerned with is the success of my kids. And so I think it is important to measure the success that you're having as a parent and to put some type of metric on that. But really, it's all about them. And one day it won't be. Like, one day you're going to be done parenting and they're going to have to go out on their own. And I think that's when you can really measure your success as a parent, because that's when you have to trust what you did,
Yes. Yeah.
as they were growing up and going through school. When they finally get out on their own and you see how they've lived their life or how they're living their life, um, then you can say, you know what, I actually did a pretty good job. Because I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah, yeah.
My mother will always reflect on the stuff she did wrong and the mistakes she made, and feel bad for it. And I think parent guilt is a normal part of
Real
parenting.
deal. Yeah.
But I would say to her or remind her, like, Mom, both of your sons have been married to, the same person for a long time. They have children that are well adjusted. We have jobs, we have homes, by every metric of success, or at least,
Yep.
the tangibles. I mean, we've done it. So you did a good job. It doesn't matter that you made a mistake or that we didn't get a good grade on a certain exam. I mean, it all kind of comes out in the wash, and you can see it later on in their 20s and 30s. And maybe that's when you can really measure it. It's hard to measure it now, right in the middle of it all. But I like what you said about letting them grow from the last place they learned,
From the
or something
last
like that.
yeah, from success comes from their last learning point. So you
Yeah,
learn something, and then you're celebrated, and then it's you organically wait until the next moment when they do something and they get it. I always I don't know, I actually wrote that down this week that success comes from what they've come to realize they learned on their own.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. All about them and what they learned, and taking ourselves in a lot of ways out of the equation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're stuck being this helicopter parent, and you're managing every minute detail of their lives, and they don't feel the freedom of expression, the freedom to fail. You're not truly free unless you're free to fail.
Wow. That's
And
good.
so
Yep. I
we
agree.
want our kids to experience freedom and to express who they are and figure all that stuff out. Then we need to let them fail too. And failure is the best teacher.
It is.
And if
It
you
is.
demonstrate as a parent failing forward,
Yeah.
then they will fail forward too. If when we as parents fail, we lose our stuff, and we get angry and we quit, and that's what they're going to do. But if we demonstrate resilience, if we fail forward, then they will too. And that's probably one of the biggest metrics of success, is being able to fail forward.
You know what? We as adults or as parents, we do the same things that kids do, just on an adult level.
Yeah,
So so I mean, we get frustrated when we lose our phone, when they get frustrated when they lose their toys.
yeah,
I'm trying to make the comparison, right? Or a friend is mad with them. Okay, we had a bad day at our job, and we react to it. Like I think we fail to understand at times that kids are just little human people, and they
yeah.
just haven't been through. You know, they haven't climbed the age ladder, which comes with its challenges, right? Like
Hmm.
now, like your oldest daughter has a job. She's going to find out, the pros and cons of that
Yeah,
really quickly, right? But without that, yeah, it's she's unaware. But that's the
yeah,
beautiful thing about, and I also heard a quote, and then we'll move on. You know how a lot of parents say, you know, um, after all I do for you, right? And this guy says, if you ever find yourself doing that, I want you to think about this. If you're saying that, it's probably because you're doing too much for your kids. Isn't that good?
100%. And that's what I was alluding to earlier about withholding and forcing kids to earn something. Even with this job, um, you know, the situation for this particular job is like a guarantee because of the person that's doing the hiring and my history with that organization. Like, you know, it's a shoe in for her to get this job. But and the person that's doing the hiring, which is actually my sister-in-law, she was like, "Well, she doesn't even need to apply." And I said, "Yes, she does.
Yeah,
She
that's
needs
good.
to. She needs to apply, and
That's really good.
she needs to be considered for the employment like everyone else." And so when my daughter filled out the application form, I didn't help her. Like, she asked me a couple of questions as to what stuff meant.
Defining terms, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
But like, I didn't help her, and I
Mhm.
never was like, you got to get this done. There's a deadline. I just told her, this is the deadline. If you want the job, you need to apply before this day. And if you don't do it, it's your choice. But as I said before, you have all the expensive hobbies and the expensive taste. And like, there comes a time when daddy's wallet closes for that stuff. Because I
Yeah.
got twins coming up 4 years behind that I want to give the same opportunities to.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
you got to force them to learn it, and I love that. If you have to say to your kids, like, all after all I do for you, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So the next question I had, we already touched on it, talking about success. Like, how do we ensure our kids are successful? We kind of just touched on that, so I don't want to spend any more time on that. But I do want to go to this one. What do you believe, in your opinion, Matt, is unequivocally is the most important thing your kids hear from you, from Matthew to the girls? Unequivocally, certainly, the most important thing y- that you believe your kids need to hear from you. And I tailor made this question for you because one thing that I admire about you, you really go out of your way to say intentional things about who they already are. That's
Yeah,
one thing I love about you. So
yeah.
maybe I stole your answer, but
Oh no, that's good. Um, I think the first, okay, two number ones. Is that possible?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So number one is, they need to hear me tell their mom how much I love her.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Got to write that down now.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
So they need to know that I love their mom. And I think that brings such a peace and an assurance for them. And listen, I know that not everyone has the kind of marriage that we have, and so it can be tricky. But
Yeah.
you asked for me, and
Yeah.
that's me. I grew up in a home where my dad loved my mom,
Hmm.
and I demonstrate that for my kids because it was just so important knowing that
Mhm.
they were together. And I don't know, it brought security to me. It allowed me to be me. I didn't have to worry about them. And then I would say that the next important thing that they need to know, that they need to hear from me, is um, how much I value them as individuals. Um, as a person of faith, as a pastor,
Mhm.
I believe that my kids are created in the image of God and that they are gifts from God to me and my
Mhm.
wife. And so their first and foremost, or their identity comes first and foremost from that. And so we teach a biblical worldview. But even beyond that, or even, I can't say beyond that because that is everything. But if that's not you, like if your listener is not a Christian and doesn't have a biblical worldview, they can still
Mhm.
do this other thing, which is um, teach them to value who they are as individuals and give them that sense of identity. And I did that from a very young age by asking the girls who loved them, and they would answer, "Daddy." How much do I
Yeah.
love you? And they would say, "No matter what." Then I would ask, "What are you, just the way you are?" And the answer was perfect. And then, the final question I would always ask them is, "Why am I proud of you?" And the answer that I taught them to give was, "Because I'm yours." And so it's so easy to be proud of kids for what they do and the good grades they get, or the goals they score at soccer, or the belt they earned at martial arts, or the ribbon they got at horseback riding, or whatever it is. It's so easy to be proud of them for their achievements. But I really wanted my girls to know that I was proud of them for the simple fact that they're my girls, that nothing can change it. They were born to my wife and I. They're our kids, and that's just all there is to it. And I'm proud of them, no matter what they do, no matter what mistakes they make, or what achievement um, whatever things they achieve. I'm proud of them the same because of
Mhm.
who they are and not what they do. And I think that's good for girls too, because um, so many times they're going to be judged on their
Yeah.
appearance, or they're going to be judged maybe even stricter in certain situations. And so they need to know who they are and whose they are, and they need to have a confidence that comes from that, and not just always this, like, I get rewarded when I do certain things, or I get rewarded when I look a certain way, or they need to know that they're valuable and they deserve good things just because of who they are. And then they can earn better things and achieve greater things
That's
if
right. Yeah.
if they develop their character and their skills and all that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So establishing that base, and for us, of course, it's our faith and our biblical worldview, and then that goes into um, giving them a sense of identity that comes from that, and then also that comes from um, my wife and I giving it to them because they're our kids.
Man, you're hitting the nail on the head tonight, man. That's really good. Very good content. Very good answers. I'm sure our guests tonight, the 4 or 5 that are on, have I'm sure been treated to some good sound perspectives and advice. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a just a minute break and shift gears, and we're going to be back with one more question. And folks, stay tuned because you know what the custom is here on this channel. We end with a little game called Would You Rather? And this week's game is going to be food focused because when me and Matt get together, it's all about the food and a few drinky poos on the side. So, yeah, just stay with us. We'll be back in about a minute and watch this infomercial. We'll be back in a couple seconds. And we're back. Welcome, Maddie. You decided to stay.
I did. Yeah. Far, boy.
I just gotta figure this out. Here we go. You know what? I wasn't born a techie person, and I haven't progressed into a techie person, but I'm doing what I can. So we got one more question. I'm going to jump into a game of Would You Rather food a dish, and I'm not sure if we'll need a snack for this part of the show or not. But one more question, Matt, to round it out here tonight. And this is simply an agree or disagree statement. And if you can give us a why or why not, glean into your decision as to why you agree, disagree. And this is how the quote goes: "Many succeed momentarily by what they know. Some succeed temporarily by what they do. Few succeed permanently by what they are." Or you can even put down who they are. You want me to read it one more time, or are you good?
You okay. Sent me that. You can read it again.
Yeah, I'm going to read it again just for our viewers because I don't have it on the screen. So let me read it again. Many succeed momentarily by what they know. Some succeed temporarily by what they do. Few succeed permanently by who they are. I think that is such a thought-provoking statement. So agree, disagree, and give us your thoughts. As it relates to,
I would wholeheartedly agree with that. You know, one of the areas that we want our kids to have success in is career, right? We want them to.
Sorry, Matt. I got to interrupt you quickly. I got a comment here from a friend.
Okay.
For you, Polly Mercer says, where is it? What up, Maddie?
Yeah.
What up, Maddie? Polly Mercer in the house. Good to have you, bud. Good friend of mine. Good friend of Matt's too. Great guy to hang out with.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Sorry, interrupt, but I had to do a shout out there.
Of course. Yeah, we want them to have success. We want them to have career success. I think that's something, we want for our kids. And where I'm going with that is, you can be successful. What is it? Momentarily,
Yep.
by what you know, right?
Yep.
And so sometimes you get a job because of who you know.
Oh, that's good. Good. Yep. Good
Okay?
connection. Yeah.
And then you can have some temporary, some moderate success by what you do. If you're pretty good at the job, you can have success for a while. But there will come a time when, especially say if it's a physical job, there'll come a time when your body can't do the job. And you're going to have to rely on something else for success, and that's your character. That's who you are. And so you can't develop, your character, to the fullest extent in your teens and 20s. You do have to start out with what you know or who you know. And then it can develop into, getting good at a certain skill or a set of skills. But we can't neglect the development of character along the way. And character is developed through a lot of trial and error. At least that's been my experience. You make a lot of mistakes. You think you're doing good, and then you end up making a big old mistake. And you can either get down on yourself and beat yourself up, or you can learn from it and then experience success a little later on because you've been developing your character the whole time. So I agree. And I also think that it's a very progressive thing. And we don't want to discount what someone knows or what someone can do, as long as they're developing their character along the way, because that's where ultimate success is going to come from. Character is like legacy, and legacy is success, right? The ultimate success. When they're lowering you into the ground, what are they saying about you then? And it's usually not what you could do or what you knew, but it's how you made them feel. And
sorry, bud. We had an outage. There's just too much good-looking people on the screen, and it took over the power source. But I think we got the gist of what you just said. Yeah.
You
so,
did.
guys, thanks for sticking in the room. We weren't trying to boot you out, but at this point in the game, we're gonna jump right into. Thanks, Matt, for some great insights, man, and answering those questions intuitively and thoughtfully. Got to put some music in the background for this, because, folks, we're entering the would you rather zone right now. So we're gonna have some fun. Kick back and enjoy some questions about food. So, while we go any further, drop it in the chat. What's your favorite food to eat when you are watching a show like this, and you're afraid to leave because you don't know if should I stay or should I go? I think that's the song. Okay, Matt, I'm gonna throw the first one at you, bud.
Sundae.
You hear me good? All right. Okay, what would you rather? Would you rather not be able to eat French fries again for life, or give up pizza entirely forever?
I listen. I love fries, but I could take or leave them. Pizza is a must.
So the fries get the end of the stick here.
Yeah, gone.
All right, next one. Would you rather? I must say, when I read these, I had a really hard time deciding, especially on this one. And I really don't know where you're going to go on this one. Can I say that? I know you well, but I don't know what way you're going to go on this one. Here it is.
Okay.
Would you rather give up cheese for good? That's all cheese. Or have to refuse chips whenever they're offered to you?
Holy boy, come on.
I know, but take it easy.
Well, Okay, so this is just, I know it's probably nitpicking, but the last question, that's off the table now.
Totally off the table. Yep,
Okay,
that's off the table.
I mean, if I had to say no to cheese, then I couldn't have pizza, which means I have to have fries. So, but that's gone.
See, now we're getting into the mind of Matt here. You're thinking like
I'm thinking
spaghetti
too much.
touches spaghetti here.
I'm thinking too much. Okay, so the thing is, there's a lot of cheese. There's a lot of stuff that comes with cheese and things like that. But if you're talking about just eating cheese, okay, like on a charcuterie board or something, I think that I would prefer to have chips whenever they're offered instead of being able to eat like block cheese.
Polly Mercer says, let's cut the fries.
Yeah, and I just think chips are too available, like too often, whereas cheese, I don't know. That's a tough one, dude.
Yeah. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Would you rather never have another slice of chocolate cake or never have another ice cream cone or sundae?
I was going to say, you don't even need to finish it. Like, I never need a piece of chocolate cake. You didn't even need to tell me the second thing. The first thing.
I got you.
Like, I don't need chocolate cake. Vanilla cake, rainbow cake, or fruit cake, or like something like that. Oh, absolutely. But chocolate cake.
How about red velvet?
Okay, red velvet, yes. It is
class
probably
of its own, bud. It's in a class of its own.
It's in a class of its own. It's not chocolate cake.
Ready for the next one? We're going to keep jumping ahead here. We got a few.
Oh, yeah, just go.
Would you rather be deprived of cookies forever, cookies, or be banned from pastries until the end of time?
Yeah, like my favorite dessert is like pies and pastries. So I would get rid of the cookies in order to have pastries. 100%.
Can't live without the pastries, eh?
Gotta have the pastries.
I know, you got to indulge in the pat. And I was going to say the patsies, the pastries. Would you rather never eat another chicken nugget again or never eat another fish stick again?
You know what? That's actually a harder decision to make than you might think.
Really? Never eat another chicken nugget or never eat another fish stick. You got to choose. Clock is a ticking.
I would get rid of the nuggets, the chicken nuggets, because I would rather have wings anyway than nuggets. So I'm going to get rid of the nuggets because I do love fish sticks or like fried fish.
Off the record here, do you like the fish fillet at McDonald's?
No.
Okay. It's gross, isn't it? Terrible.
Mealy as anything. It's gross.
Yeah, it is. Okay, would you rather? Oh, Maddie. It's toughy, bud. Would you rather give up roasted chicken or give up steak?
Or roast chicken.
Steak all the way.
Yeah.
All the way to the bank.
Unequivocally.
Oh, listen, I got to tell everybody one thing about Matty Poo. He loves his sauces. You do. You like this. Right? Dressing up the bun. Okay, would you rather never use ketchup again or give up mayonnaise?
Ketchup is my secret ingredient in almost all my cooking.
I know.
But mayo is so good too. I'm gonna have to get rid of mayo. I need some chocolate.
Paul's on your side. Steak all the way, he said.
Of course.
I agree.
Out of the two, chicken or steak? Yeah. A ribeye? Can you imagine ever eating a ribeye again?
No, can't do it. Can't do it. Sorry. Would you rather never taste another bite of chocolate or give up all sorts of candy? All candy. We'll say all candy.
I don't like candy. I need my chalky.
Guys, just to let you know, we're in the short form conversation, eh? Short term, short form. Save your breath. That's how it works in the Mouse Antle households.
I gotta have my chalky.
Okay, here's
I don't
one.
like candy.
Dude, ready?
Yeah.
Would you rather, Jared, if you're still on here, you're going to have to answer this one too. And Paulie, you too. I think we're all in the same boat here. Would you rather give up a beer or give up wine?
Dude, it's not even a question. Out of the two? Wine. I like wine as much as the next guy. Whatever one you had there, Shiraz or whatever it was. Like, yeah, of course.
Pour it over the keyboard, get it over with. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know, if that's all there was.
That's exactly why I'm drinking it. That's all there was.
Now, okay, and this is what I'm going to say about wine really quick.
Paul says wine.
It's red or white, and they all taste the same. And I know there's wine guys out there that, you know, can tell the difference. One is oaky, one is nutty, one is this or that.
I know.
They all taste the same. Whereas beer, there's so much great flavor and so many different. Wine has to go.
Hoppy and flat and like it's just so many. Like it's hard to get into it. Jared's a real connoisseur when it comes to that stuff. Jared, the dead caveman. All right. Would you rather stop drinking coffee in the mornings or never get another hot chocolate again? This is an easy one for you. I know that.
Hot chocolate.
Yeah.
I gotta have coffee in the morning, dude.
I know. Like honestly, it's gotta be. It's gotta be like coffee to a parent's like spinach to Popeye. No?
Yeah.
For mental clarity. Next one. Would you rather never have another sip of apple juice? You like that tune?
Dude, you got me bumping up in here.
Got you vibing. We're vibing here. Never have another sip of apple juice. Gotta love the way I just said that. Another sip of apple. Or never drink another glass of orange juice.
I don't need apple juice, but I do love orange juice.
OJ, I had one today in the truck on the way.
I don't drink it a lot. I used to drink it all the time, but I do love it.
Okay, those who don't know Matt, he loves to cook. And there's one ingredient that is a must. I know that. It's a homestay in most people's cooking. I know if you're a newfie, you have this in your cooking. And this is the final one. Would you rather never add salt to anything again or never add sugar to anything again? Sugar.
Listen, I love like watching. I love doing outdoor activities, and I love watching like survival shows like Alone and things like that. And the one thing I'm like, I would have to bring is salt.
I know.
Like of all of the stuff, salt.
Yep.
I had to have it. I would have to season. Like I would eat a rat, I would eat a mouse or a squirrel or whatever, but it would have to be
nice.
I need salt.
Okay, this one's for kicks and giggles. I'm throwing this one here at the end. Subs or sandwiches? Now, some people will say, it's the same thing, but I think Maddie would argue with you there. Matt, subs for life, sandwiches for life, but you can't have both.
I'm going to say this. All subs are sandwiches, but not all sandwiches are subs.
Oh, Aristotle.
Okay?
Socrates. Yeah. Oh, my goodness, the wisdom oozing out of your brain.
Okay, I'm going to say I'm going to get rid of subs for this reason.
Never expected it. Never expected that.
For this reason.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a peanut butter and jam sub? The answer is no. I must have PB&Js, dude.
Oh,
And they
yeah,
only
that's
come
true.
on sandwich.
Yeah, with a tall glass of milk.
Yeah.
I can't beat it, man.
I love subs, but not so much that I'll never have a PB&J again.
No, it's true. That's true. I'd have to. You've really put my mind in. You've really put things in perspective to me. More about food than parenting tonight. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey.
Listen, if the women don't find you handsome, they'll sure find you hungry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're still live, man. We're still live. The camera's still rolling. Maddie, thanks a lot, man, for coming aboard tonight. We're an hour in, so we're gonna wrap her up. Guys, give Matt some virtual applauses there. Matt, thank you. It's always good. Always a treat. Yeah. Take a bow. Stage right. But yeah, thanks for joining Dad Discussions. Feature Friday. Glad to have you aboard. But guys, again, got a new vid coming out on Monday. And looking forward to that. So stay tuned. But Matt, it's been a slice. We'll catch you on the flippity.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right, buddy. We'll see ya.
Hey, bye.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that Dad Discussion. Feature Friday. Remember, every Friday at 9 p.m., Dad Discussion time. So we'd love to have you. Go share it with your friends. Share it with that aunt that you don't like or uncle that seems to, rip you off. I don't know. Go ahead and share it with them. Share it with your friends. And those that that would probably benefit from content like this. But having said that, we're not going to keep you any further or any longer. Great to have you. Thank you for joining us. And like I always say, stay focused. And I'll catch you on the flippity, guys. We'll see you. Have a great night.